Picture this. Massive terminals that once bustled with millions of eager travelers now stand hauntingly quiet. Departure lounges sit vacant. Customs halls echo with emptiness. The endless streams of international visitors, nowhere to be found. America, the land that promised opportunity and adventure to the world, is watching its major airports become monuments to isolation. What's driving this dramatic shift? How did we get here? And what does this exodus mean for our nation's future? Join me as we explore the 10 major U.S. airports facing an unprecedented decline and discover the troubling forces behind America's tourism collapse. Number 10. Orlando International Airport, MCO. When dreams don't draw crowds, Orlando International, the magical gateway that once welcomed over 50 million passengers annually. This wasn't just an airport, it was the beginning of dreams for families worldwide. But let's look at the numbers that Disney doesn't want you to see. International arrivals have dropped by 35% since 2019. Brazilian families, who once made Orlando their annual pilgrimage, are now choosing European destinations instead. Why? A simple family visa application now takes 8-12 months to process, compared to just 2-3 months for European countries. Maria Santos from São Paulo told travel reporters, "We used to visit Disney every 2 years. Now, the visa process is so complicated, so expensive, we're taking our children to Disneyland Paris instead. It's easier, faster, and we feel more welcomed." But it's not just visa delays. The total cost of a Florida vacation has skyrocketed. What used to cost a European family $4,000 now averages $7,500. And that's before they even enter the theme parks. Meanwhile, competing destinations in Japan, Singapore, and France offer similar experiences at fraction of the cost and complexity. Airlines have noticed. Lufthansa reduced their Frankfurt-Orlando flights from daily to just 4 times per week. TAP Air Portugal canceled their Lisbon route entirely. Even British Airways is considering cutting frequency. The airport that once symbolized American hospitality and wonder is learning a harsh lesson. Even magic has its limits when bureaucracy and costs create barriers too high to climb. Number 9. Chicago O'Hare International Airport, ORD, the Windy City's quiet storm. O'Hare International, once the busiest airport in the world, the crown jewel of American aviation, a symbol of our nation's connectivity and global reach. But walk through O'Hare today and you'll notice something unsettling. Entire concourses designed for international traffic now operate at 60% capacity. Gates that once hosted jumbo jets from Tokyo, London, and Frankfurt now sit empty for hours at a time. Let me give you the real numbers. International passenger traffic is down 42% compared to pre-pandemic levels. But here's what's shocking. While most airports globally have recovered to 85–90% of previous traffic, O'Hare remains stubbornly stagnant. Why? It's not just about flight schedules. It's about perception. Chicago's struggle with urban violence has reached international headlines. The BBC, Deutsche Welle, and NHK regularly report on weekend shooting statistics. For international travelers, especially families, Chicago has transformed from a must-visit Midwestern hub to a risky stopover to avoid. Lufthansa's regional director was quoted saying, "Our passengers are specifically requesting connecting flights through Toronto or Vancouver rather than Chicago." The perception of safety has fundamentally changed. This airport used to represent American industrial might and global connectivity. Now it's becoming a case study in how quickly international perception can reshape economic reality. Number 8. Los Angeles International Airport, LAX. The fading gateway to the stars, LAX. The golden gateway to California dreaming. For decades, this was where international visitors first touched American soil before exploring Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and the Pacific Coast. But the numbers tell a story that Hollywood's PR machine can't spin. Asian tourism, which once represented 40% of LAX's international traffic, has collapsed by a staggering 68%. Chinese visitors who were spending $6.8 billion annually in California have virtually disappeared. It started with trade tensions, but it's become something much deeper. Visa approval rates for Chinese tourists dropped from 85% to just 47%. The average processing time? 6 months compared to 3 weeks for European destinations. But even more telling are the cultural shifts. Beverly Hills hotels that once boasted 60–70% international occupancy now struggle to maintain 35%. The luxury shopping districts of Rodeo Drive report that international spending has dropped by $2.3 billion annually. What's most heartbreaking? Local business owners in Koreatown and Little Tokyo communities built by immigrants who believed in the American dream are watching their international customer base evaporate. LAX was supposed to be America's Pacific gateway. Instead, it's becoming a cautionary tale about how quickly global relationships can crumble. Number 7, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, SEA. Where innovation meets isolation. Seattle-Tacoma International, the airport that should be thriving beyond imagination. This is the home of Microsoft, Amazon, Starbucks, and Boeing. A city surrounded by breathtaking natural beauty, a progressive reputation, and a booming tech economy. So why does SEA feel like a ghost town for international arrivals? The statistics are baffling. International passenger numbers are down 47%, even though Seattle's tech industry has grown by 34% during the same period. Business travel to Seattle from Asia and Europe has declined by 52%. Here's what's really happening. Tech conferences and meetings that once brought thousands of international visitors to Seattle are now predominantly virtual. But that's not the full story. When international tech workers do need to visit, they're increasingly choosing to meet in neutral locations. Vancouver, Singapore, or even Austin, Texas. Why? Alaska Airlines, Seattle's hometown carrier, has been forced to reduce their international route network by 31%. Routes to Reykjavik, Amsterdam, and Tokyo, routes that were profitable just 3 years ago, are now financially unsustainable. Seattle was supposed to represent American innovation and environmental consciousness. Instead, it's becoming a symbol of how bureaucratic barriers and cultural tensions can isolate even our most successful cities from the global community. Number 6. Miami International Airport, MIA, the silent crossroads, Miami International Airport, the vibrant heartbeat connecting North and South America. For generations, this was more than just an airport. It was a cultural bridge, a place where Latin America and the United States came together in celebration of shared prosperity and opportunity. But that bridge is cracking under political pressure. Routes that operated for decades are being canceled or suspended. The sounds of Spanish, Portuguese, and Caribbean languages that once filled these terminals are now disturbingly quiet. Let's examine what's really happening. Venezuelan passengers who once represented 12% of MIA's international traffic have virtually disappeared. Not because they don't want to visit, but because diplomatic relations have made travel nearly impossible. American Airlines suspended all Caracas flights. Copa Airlines rerouted Venezuelan passengers through Panama City, adding 6 to 8 hours to their journey. The most heartbreaking part? Family reunification. Miami was where Latin American families reunited with relatives who had immigrated to the United States. These weren't just tourist trips. They were emotional homecomings, quinceañeras, weddings, funerals. Now, families report waiting 12 to 18 months for visitor visas. Today, it stands as a reminder of how political divisions can tear apart the cultural fabric that once made America a beacon for the entire hemisphere. Number 5. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, DFW. Lone Star, fewer visitors. Dallas-Fort Worth International, one of the world's largest airports built to showcase Texas-sized ambition and hospitality. For decades, DFW represented everything bold and welcoming about American enterprise. But international visitors are sending a clear message. They're staying away. International passenger numbers have plummeted by 51%. European business travel is down 63%. Asian tourism has collapsed by 71%. These aren't just statistics. They represent millions of canceled dreams and billions in lost economic impact. What's driving this exodus from the heart of America? Cultural tensions have reached international awareness in ways that Texas never intended. European news outlets regularly feature stories about immigration enforcement, cultural conflicts, and political rhetoric that make international visitors feel unwelcome. German business executives, who once regularly flew Lufthansa's Frankfurt-Dallas route, are now connecting through Chicago or New York instead. A BMW executive told industry publications, "The atmosphere in Texas has become too politically charged for comfortable business relationships. We're routing our meetings through Atlanta now." The most tragic irony? Texas, built by international immigrants and diverse cultures, is watching its global connections severed by the very political rhetoric meant to protect it. DFW was supposed to be America's international gateway to the heartland. Instead, it's becoming a symbol of how cultural division can isolate even our most ambitious and capable communities from the global economy. Number 4. San Francisco International Airport, SFO. When progress can't overcome problems. San Francisco International Airport, the gateway to Silicon Valley, the epicenter of global innovation, and the birthplace of technologies that connect the entire world. This should be the most internationally connected airport in America. Instead, it's experiencing an international exodus that defies all logic. International passenger traffic is down 54%. Asian business travel has collapsed by 67%. European tech conferences that once brought thousands of engineers and entrepreneurs to the Bay Area are now predominantly virtual or relocated to other countries. How is this possible? How can the home of Apple, Google, Meta, and Twitter be losing international visitors? The answer is as complex as it is devastating. The most heartbreaking irony? San Francisco, the city that created the technologies connecting the entire world, is becoming increasingly disconnected from the global community it helped create. SFO was supposed to be the 21st century's Ellis Island, where global innovation and American opportunity came together. Instead, it's becoming a cautionary tale about how urban challenges can undermine even the most successful economic ecosystems. Number 3. Washington, D.C. DCAIAD, the capital of caution. Washington, D.C., the capital of the free world, the symbol of democracy, and the beacon of hope that has inspired oppressed people worldwide for over 2 centuries. Reagan National Airport and Dulles International should be bustling with international diplomats, business leaders, tourists, and students eager to experience American democracy firsthand. Instead, they're experiencing an unprecedented decline in international visitors that strikes at the heart of America's global leadership. International passenger traffic is down 49% at Dulles and 38% at Reagan National. Diplomatic travel, traditionally the most stable segment of international aviation, has decreased by 31%. Educational tourism, once bringing hundreds of thousands of international students and visitors to DC's world-class museums and monuments, has collapsed by 62%. This isn't just about airport statistics. This represents a fundamental shift in how the world views American democracy and leadership. Number 2. New York City. JFK and LaGuardia. The empire is quiet. The city that never sleeps now hears silence in its terminals. International travel is down. Hotel vacancies are rising. And the dream of New York feels harder to reach than ever. Why? Inflation, fear, and a perception that the U.S. is no longer the beacon it once was. Number 1. Las Vegas McCarran International Airport, LAS. The gamble didn't pay off. Vegas was built for visitors, built to dazzle, to escape, to win. But today, the slot machines keep spinning while the planes stay grounded. Foreign tourists have plummeted. Conventions have moved abroad. And the magic of Las Vegas feels manufactured. So what does this mean? The empty airports aren't just about tourism. They're a reflection of how the world sees America right now. But this isn't the end. It's a wake-up call. America still has the power to inspire, to lead, to welcome the world again. But first, it must listen, learn, and open its doors, not just physically, but with heart. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because this story is far from over.